be, then I'll go. Thought that
Welcome back to another Coffee Time Live. Welcome to the channel, Grand Colombia. Another gorgeous day in Armenia, Colombia. And what do we got today? Got no guests today. I kind of decided to take a break from it. I was contemplating having Robert come on, but he's too busy anyway. He's having way too much fun. He's back in Medellin for a few days. I'll show a few clips on that. I want to start out, first of all, by thanking, as always, for some contributions. In particular, of special note, is Charles and Ray. Now, that's not Ray Charles, but two people, Charles and Ray. And they're very generous this week, and it was a huge boost. I really appreciated it, and I just want to thank you. I also want to remind people that I'm getting away from YouTube. And last week, I mentioned the membership at the bottom of the YouTube window that you're looking at. If you're looking at it on YouTube, it's got a little block there that says join. Those of you that have joined, I know this sounds crazy, but I'm asking you to quit because I'm just going to get away from YouTube. It's just totally unreliable. Just yesterday, I put up a video and half of my commentary disappeared. And I figured it was good enough, and I put so many captions on it. To redo the video is kind of a nightmare. So not redo it on my end, but when you re-upload to YouTube and you have to delete that, it's problematic. So I just left it there. It's more or less complete. What I lost was a commentary on two other bus stations and fair amount of conversation about La Linea, which is unfortunate, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with you. Well, I know what's going on with YouTube, and I just can't. It's too frustrating. I have enough trouble with videos on my own. I don't need help. So I will be switching to Vimeo. I have made up my mind, and I'm going to. And I just dug a little deeper on things to subscribe to. Now, we all do certain things. Like, for example, Netflix. You know, that's $11 some a month. I don't watch TV that much, and I have other options if I do so. I've just always hesitated on canceling that subscription because, you know, once you cancel it, then a lot of times if you decide to go back, rates go up. But to hell with it. I just don't watch it enough to justify it. So in going through all the subscriptions that I have, the Microsoft, so I can store material in the cloud, all kinds of things. It doesn't get me to the $75 I need for Vimeo, but it gets me close enough. And so that's what I'm going to do. So anyway, I want to bring up or remind of the plan that I've been working on. Why do I have a car? See, I'll do videos and I'll explain these things, but everybody doesn't watch every video. So I have to remember myself when I get questions about this to bring it up again. So the plan is, why do I have a car? Well, the car is not for me to drive around locally. I don't need that. I can walk or take a taxi or take a bus. It's just here in town. I don't know. It's more of a hassle than it's not. So it's not for that. I got the car for you guys so that, and for the videos, so that I can go to some of these small towns and not worry about certain issues with buses in small towns. Go shoot off to places of interest that buses don't go to, like maybe a coffee farm, and there won't be taxis readily available. You can get a taxi there or a Jeep there, but then returning can be an issue. So I got the car so that I can go a little more in depth in some videos, but also fair amount of you, several a month prior to epidemic, would come through Armenia, and we would get together, have coffee, lunch. They'd kind of pick my brain, and it was kind of nice. But it would be nicer if I had a car that they could basically hire for the day and go around and show them things that they wanted to see. Where before I would have to try to find somebody locally, and they work, and putting that together was kind of an issue. So that's the purpose of the car. Now, I also, when I rented this apartment, I got a 3-bedroom so that I could have a dedicated studio where I'm sitting, of course, my own bedroom. And then the 3rd bedroom was for you guys when you come down. Now, here's the thing. I don't want people here, camping out for 2 weeks or something. But my thinking is when you're coming here, you don't know where you want to be. And I could tell you, but you can't picture it. You don't know unless you've been here. And so my thinking is that I can pick you up at the airport if it's in Pareda or here in Armenia, or you could just come here. And then on that first day, you can pick my brain. We can talk about things. We can drive in the car or whatever. But for, I'll say 2 or 3 days, you'll have a place to stay where you don't have to worry about anything. There's no check-in. There's no late arrivals. There's none of that. You could just come. You got it's a queen size bed. You got a TV in there, and you can spend a couple days in us talking and maybe showing you a couple areas, or even stopping in and checking out a couple places, and then make a choice for the rest of your stay. That way I don't have somebody, under feet for very long, but it'll be a really good option for you. We'll be right here together. The car, place to sleep. I think it's going to make things a lot simpler for you. And so that's the purpose. And I've been putting this together for quite some time. It takes a while, but we're pretty much there, so that when people start come rolling in, even next month or January, February, I'm ready to go. All right. So I'm not looking at the comments yet because got some other things to do here. I want to go to some news items next. All right. See if we can. All right. Here we go. Not very many. I just picked out 4. Mostly there's election stuff going on. I have something to say about it, but I'm going to do that on my private Lauren Spouts Off channel. We don't really want to get into that kind of stuff here. So this first one, believe it or not, it has kind of a happy ending. 5 children from the same family were poisoned with rat poison. Here's the thing. These kids, the ages are like from 2 to 8, I think it was, whatever, young kids. And they were playing, and they were putting together, they were pretending that they were making meals and feeding each other. And so they had sticks and leaves, and they were, doing their little recipes. Well, one of them found in the corner this little dish, and I don't recall what it was. I'm not going to hunt it up now, but there's a little dish of something. It's a little on the sweet side. And so they called them all over, and they took that dish and they divided up amongst each other and pretended it was like little tiny food. And so they're, well, it was raced with rat poison, and it was put down by grandma to kill some rats that had been poking around. And so the kids ended up in the hospital, as you can imagine, was not a pretty sight. They've all recovered because the mom reacted real quick, and the ambulance was real quick, and everything went fine after that. But these are stories that when I was a kid growing up were pretty common, but these days you don't really have that anymore. You've got environmentally safe, child-proof rat things and boxes where you can, take them and put them outside to give them a chance to come back another day. Well, here they, like in most of the world, they'll actually use rat poison So I don't know. I just found that interesting. And the next one here is, this giant African snail has been a real issue here. They're an invasive species. They came on some kind of shipping thing and they exploded here. They love this environment. And they've been infecting areas of Candia like Montenegro and Kimbaya here in Armenia. Most of Candia is still free from them, but it's been spreading. So volunteers go out every single day, and they've been doing it for months, collecting them, just going through wherever, there's record of them being, and just picking up rocks and trying to find them. And they've made great progress. I don't know if this is something they can ever beat, but they are trying. And they collected 5 tons worth, little snails, 5 tons worth. That's dedication. Candia received the status of a special tourist zone. This is pretty cool. Here in Colombia, if you get a special zone status, that means if you have a business related to that special zone, you get a huge break on your taxes. And here it amounts to a 9%. And that's huge. So everybody here that's got a business that's tourist related is like, woohoo, we did it. They've been trying to do it forever. And I don't know what took so long, because it's the second most visited location by tourists in all of Colombia. Yeah, seriously. So there's that. And the last one, I got my messages going crazy here. Maybe they forget that I have this live coffee time. Armenia, Kalarka, and Armenia, Montenegro, and Kimbaya, double carriageway tender, 100,000 million pesos. What this is about is funds for the roads here that have been needing improving have come through. And I'm not sure how they're doing it, because the country is in dire straits over these last months, but they're doing everything they can to get back on track. And this is part of it. The road that goes from Armenia to the coffee park and then on to Kimbaya, where Panaka is located, where a lot of tourists come for, or what they come for. It's the road, it's not the worst, but it's a little too narrow. There's some areas where traffic will have to stop and wait for the oncoming traffic to get by. And it definitely needs some improving, particularly with the amount of traffic that's there sometimes. And so that will be a new road. And the road from here to Kalarka, which is about 2 miles away, that road definitely needs some work. Now, parts of it near Kalarka are brand new, but there's other sections of it that, not so great. Plus, some of that money will be in other smaller projects throughout the county or department of Candia. So that's big news here. That's a lot of money to be pumping into the local economy, into construction materials. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, yesterday I got a couple questions on the bus video. All right, let me check the comments here, see if there's anything important. No. Robert bragging about his 75-cent breakfast he's eating. Okay, a couple questions on the bus. What are the bathrooms like on the bus? And it's actually a really good question, because if you're in Ecuador, familiar with Ecuador, been to Ecuador, the buses there have bathrooms on the bus, but they lock them and don't let you use them. And that can be kind of an issue if you're an older guy that's got prostate issues and, you got to pee like every hour on the hour. Fortunately, I don't, but I feel your pain. I do have my nighttime thing where I can get up 4 or 5 times a night sometimes if I drank a couple bottles of water before going to bed, but self-inflicted. So the bathrooms on the buses here, it's basically, it's normal. It's like if you took a Greyhound. They're clean. You go in there. Now, people here, I think people do things a lot out of respect. Somebody's got to clean that bathroom, so I'm not going to use it unless I really have to. The bus will stop every so often for a couple minutes or partway through the trip to refill the diesel gas tank, or maybe the driver's got to stretch his legs. And there's always, it's like a 24-hour gas station or something. And a lot of people will wait for those stops and get off the bus and use those bathrooms. But bathrooms are available. They're unlocked. You can go back. You can use them. And one time in Ecuador, I used the bathroom on the bus. It was going to from Cuenca to Quito. And I couldn't wait anymore. It's a 8.5-hour bus trip. And I don't know, I think I drank too much water or something. And it's like, I got to do something here. So I get a hold of the key. They gave me the key. Usually they don't, but I got the key. So I go back to the bathroom. I get inside. I shut the door, and they're little tiny, of course, small thing. And all of a sudden, we hit this section, and most of the trip is this way, but I thought I caught a straight section where we're just doing these hairpin turns. And the buses in Ecuador, they try to go like 300 miles an hour in these turns. That's why I swear a month doesn't go by when you don't hear about a bus going off some 1,000-foot cliff. But anyway, I'm in there in the middle of what's going on, and we hit this thing. I spent more time in there with paper towels cleaning it up than I did for what I went in there for. But luckily, a lot of the roads here are straight. And when you get they put a lot of money in bridges, these tunnels, for example, trying to straighten these things out. But anyway, this trip was pretty straight. I didn't use the bathroom either way, but occasionally, probably 2 or 3 times, you saw people getting up and using it. And there are no problems here. They're just normal. And the other thing, other question was asked: how do the buses run? Are they timely? Do they run late? Do they care about a schedule? I won't say it's like the Germans, but maybe it is a little bit, because there's a lot of Germans have some history going back a couple centuries here. There's a lot of German in Colombia, but the buses pretty much are on time. I mean, you sometimes occasionally might find a bus a few minutes late because it's a bus that you were actually catching coming from somewhere else, and maybe there was an accident or something, and that's your bus. And so occasionally you're going to get that, but I've hardly ever had that happen. The bus, you get on the bus and it leaves when it's supposed to leave, and it arrives. If anything, it arrives early. Like when I got to Bucaramanga, I was supposed to arrive at 5:30 in the morning. We actually rolled in at 4 a.m. I thought it was going to be a little problematic. I take the taxi, I'm half awake. I let the guy burn me on the meter because I'm not even in my right mind. And then I get to the hotel and I'm thinking, there's no way they're going to let me in, but they did. You talk about early check-ins. It was like 4:30 in the morning and they're checking me in at the hotel. So that was pretty awesome. But yeah, bus schedule's pretty reliable. Okay, as I mentioned, before I do that, I want to show you, if you haven't seen it. Oh, sorry, didn't take that off the screen. If you haven't seen it, my introduction to season 11. My overview didn't have this, but I've been fiddling with it, and I wanted to find a way in the introduction for season 11, which is like, after all these months, I'm free to go out and go places instead of being locked in. And I wanted to express the way I felt about that. And I've been toying with this for weeks. And this is what I came up with. If you haven't seen it yet, I'd be interested in what you think. It's a little different. Okay. I'm curious what you think. It's maybe a little overly dramatic, but I just couldn't think of a way to put together what then I just figured I'd just write it. And if I'm going to write it, all right, let's do it that way. And then I had to dig for some music that was similar, but it, isn't going to do a copyright strike. So anyway, that's it. Now, I mentioned Robert's back in Medellin, and he's been sending me some clips, and I'll put together because he's got some pretty good stuff in there. I hate that he does it in the upright Instagram format, like I'm going to show you. But I've just got two little clips here that I just, I think they're kind of cool. So I just thought I would show you. That'll be a video coming up. It won't take me long at all to put it together. I'll probably have it out Tuesday.
Arepas, porque estoy comiendo en un lugar que hace arepas muy, muy rico. Gracias. Aquí está mi arepa. Wow, qué rico. That looks delicious. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what this arepa has in it. It has shredded beef, sausage, pork rinds, bacon, beans, bananas, avocados, cheese, and sauce of the house. Sauce hop. Man, it is delicious.
Yum. Okay. Last thing I want to mention, then we'll get to Q&A, is that on the Bucaramanga videos, and I realized the bus was almost felt like a departure, but it's information that a lot of people asked me about. And so that's why I put together the bus trip with clips from it and 4 different bus stations. So, and La Linea, people ask about that. So I showed some tunnels, and so there's that. But this week I've got planned, if everything works, I've got scheduled that I'll be putting 2 more out. The next one will be the hotel, and then the city itself. And so, look for those. I know a lot of you are interested in about the place, and time's moving on, but great place. So what's next? It's Q&A time. It's time to start asking your questions. Remember, 4 question marks first, then ask the question. Okay, so let me look at the comments. I'm eating my breakfast. Good morning. Hello, guys. Kalarka. You put the little thing on there, Kalarka. I'm always saying Kalarka, and I know different, and I've said it the right way, but I get blasted every time I say Kalarka. But I'm sorry, it's like I spoke with my accent my entire life, and sometimes I just forget those things. Okay, catchy intro. Thank you. That was great. I liked it. Cool. I didn't know what the reaction would be because it's kind of far from Colombia, but I don't know. The feelings I have about being able to go to Bucaramanga, for example, and planning over the next month some other things that I'll be going out for. It's hard for me to express the joy, the energy, the excitement that I have for that. And so that was, it's like I want to try to find a way to put that in. So that's what that was about. Is there much in the way of organic produce in Armenia? Yeah. First of all, this is not a country that's big on chemicals. Now, I'm not going to tell you that they don't use them, because some places will use pesticides. But most of your local people, from what I've been able to find out by talking to local people intimately familiar with farmers here, is they tend to use, well, for example, if you get a certain type of insect that'll attack your watermelon crop, there's other kinds of plants that you can grow in between the watermelon plants or near them that is toxic to those insects and drive them away. They're big on that kind of thing. I don't know what you call that, but that's a huge thing here. Vegetables here in Ecuador, you have to wash them, and it's really kind of problematic. Gray water is used in a lot of places. They're really big on banned chemicals. And here it's more like you can't use banned chemicals, for example. There's laws about it, and there's inspections that go on. And there's, you know how you have, in the U.S., you've got meat associations and milk associations and, you know, things like that create standards and work with the government on inspections. You have that here also. So the food is, I'm back here in Colombia 2 years, and not a single time have I had any kind of food poisoning or even food queasiness. It's I can't even say that when I was living in North Carolina. I just don't have any issues here. I thought I was going to get sick. There's a restaurant that I showed in that bus video in Ibagué. Never eat there. Oh my God. It was horrible. For another time, but that was the people in the restaurant. They're pigs, but generally, there's organic food by label if you so choose to want it. It's in the supermarkets. There's particular vendors that you can trace to certain farms. So there is that. But on the other hand, I became concerned about those things in Ecuador because of the issues, and you get food poisoning a couple times, and you want to be more careful. Here, I'm not concerned because the food supply is good, and I've never had any problems, and I don't know anybody here that has gotten sick from food. So there's that. Hope that answers. Do you know when the Marine Corps birthday is? Wasn't it yesterday? And that's sad that I don't even remember. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I would know right off the top of my head. November 1775. It's either yesterday or today. Somebody look that up for me. It's called companion planting. Okay. I didn't know what the name of it is because I never really thought about it before, but in here talking to people and me quizzing them on certain things, they more describe it. And I knew there was some kind of name for it. And here there's a name for it in Spanish, and I don't remember. I don't remember what I was told, but the fact that they do it. Tuesday, 10th of November, maybe. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I know it's November. I feel ashamed. I went one time to the Marine Corps ball, wore my dress blues, had my sword. It's the only time I ever used my dress blues and sword anywhere ever. You buy the stuff and it costs a fortune. But the ball was amazing. It was in this gigantic room, and it was so ornate, and people were dancing the waltz, and I took a girlfriend at the time, and she was like in awe. I couldn't get her jaw off the floor. It was quite amazing. And November 10th, that's right. Now I'm seeing it in writing. That's absolutely right. Yeah. Well, to all you jarheads out there, I'm sorry. I guess I've been away too long. My memory, I got a weird memory. I can't remember people's names for the life of me. That's always been an issue for me. And I struggle with things like dates. And so if you're a girlfriend, I can't remember your name. I'm going to call you, hey, you. And if you expect me to remember an anniversary or a birthday, forget it. But then everything else, I seem to have this computer memory of. I have no idea why it's broken up like that. One of these days I'll find out. It's probably some sort of personality characteristic or syndrome or something. But that's been like from day one. It's like always like that. Okay, any other questions? What time is it? Half an hour. I wouldn't mind if we had a half an hour show once in a while, so it wouldn't break my heart. But I'm here. If you got questions, feel free. It could be about the Bucaramanga trip. It could be about my car. It can be about Armenia. What a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous day. I got these white puffy clouds, and it ranges between dark blue and pale blue, depending on where you look. And of course, always the breeze. There's always that breeze going on. Got the window open, and it's just, it's probably about 72, 74 degrees. Oh, I will tell you this. My blind friend who was living on the floor below me in my last apartment, Provenza, he was like blind in one eye and couldn't see out of the other. He could make out things, but legally blind. Well, over the course of this lockdown, he's become entirely blind. But he wants to change his scenery. He wants to change his location. So his contract is up. He's been looking for an apartment. He's probably moving in now. I was able to help him with the movers and with some people that could put him onto some things. So hopefully that paid off. I think he had forgotten about it because he's like, I got a week to move. But he came over here to look at a place that's here. And he says, you mentioned that it's cooler. He's coming from Provenza, which is a cooler place of the city. He says, you mentioned that it's cooler, but you never said it's like 10 degrees cooler. He says, are you freezing at night? Once in a while, it gets kind of cold, but I leave all my doors and windows open, the patio doors, everything is always open. That's the way it is. But there was one time since I've been here, which we're going on 3 months, I think, where I actually had to get up and close some doors that get kind of cool. Yeah, this building, the way it's located, the way it's positioned, it's about 10 degrees cooler from the cooler area. It's cooler here than in Manizales, living where I am. Okay, what do we got here? Do you still fit in your dress blues? I not only don't fit in them, when I got sick and ended up those few years in bed, that's when I got fat. And I lost a fair amount of weight after moving to Ecuador. Probably gained a little back over I know I did. I moved 2 belt notches over the quarantine, but but I never got rid of it. I don't know. I probably never will. I'm probably destined to live out the rest of my life as a fat boy. But that wasn't the case through most of my life. But those dress blues were, I was lean and mean, and, days I was a real badass. And I looked good in them, filled them out nicely. But when I left the United States to move to Ecuador, I actually gave them away. I'd kept them all my life. And it just dawned on me, you got to quit dragging this stuff around that you're never really going to use. And so I got rid of a lot of things that I had kept with me for decades. And that was one of them. It's funny. It was just a week or so ago. I was kind of, having a little remorse over those dress blues, just looking at them sometimes, with all the, I was kind of missing it a few weeks ago. Sorry, I forgot that I could put these on screen. When will they stop requiring the testing before coming into the country? Who knows? Months? I don't know. The world is crazy on this stuff. So much of it doesn't make sense. I was watching, I watched a 5-minute YouTube video showing the Biden celebrations, and it was going from city to city, and you had these throngs of people out there. And I guess they forgot now, these were people that were screaming, "You're killing grandma," and they're all out there, crowded together, hugging each other, kissing each other, mask, no mask. It just like, okay, Biden's elected. I guess COVID's not a problem in the U.S. anymore. I don't know. I watched that. My emotion on it was, I laughed. I just thought it was kind of funny. I guess you don't have to take a lot of that stuff very seriously when you're living here. But there's so much non-scientific things that take place, and Colombia is not excluded from it. So they're going to take, and I covered a little bit of that in the bus trip. Unfortunately, part of my commentary that vanished, I talked about in detail the procedure of not just washing the hands, but the temperature check and the mobility tracing, contact tracing that takes place. I had actually covered all that in that video, and that's gone. I think that's probably going to continue for a number of months. Did you get your driver's license sorted out? No, the office, there is no projected date when the transito offices are going to be open again. And for me to convert my license with that little known law, apparently, I have to go to an open office. I cannot do it on the internet. So I'm going to I'm going to drive with my license, and I'm going to carry with me a copy of the law, the Colombian law. Now, my license hasn't been converted, but if the office isn't open, I'm not able to do that. Therefore, it's not my fault. So my fingers are crossed, and I'm hoping they'll treat it the same as they do with the visas. When the visa, which they're open now, but when the visa offices were closed, even if yours expired, you were fine. You had a month after they opened in order to get it taken care of. So my hope is that the downside is if I get pulled over by a cop that doesn't have a clue about any of that, and he just decides to have my car towed or something. I don't think that'll happen. I tend not to be like that, but we are where we are. If there's an office that I can find, I've actually got somebody looking in Medellin or in Bogota. There may be a transito office. I'll take a trip there to get it done. What else we got? That's not a question. You should post some pics of you when you were younger. Why? You can find them on my Facebook page. I'm pretty sure the COVID testing requirement has been eliminated as of a few days ago. I have not heard that at all. I do not think that's the case. I could be wrong, but I've actually seen some things just recently that would be to the contrary. If it's true, that's awesome. If somebody has any information, feel free to email it to me. I would appreciate it. I heard on a YouTube video yesterday that the testing requirement has ended. Okay, well, that's number 2, but it's probably from the same source. And it may be a video source where they announce things that are rumors but aren't necessarily fact. The last time I got a flurry of emails when they were talking about how the retirement funds were going to go up, like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, the requirement, which was absolutely untrue. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Be nice if it's true. To the cheat. No, we don't go there. I did a COVID test again before coming to Colombia, but didn't get my results in time. So I went to plan B and photoshopped my first test from a couple months ago and just changed the date. But here's the question. Did they check it? Because if they've ended the requirement, they would not have bothered checking it. So let me know if they checked it. Oh, this is a question time. I just arrived. Okay, but that's not a question. Okay, Rob, did they check your COVID test? Because he flew in yesterday, I think. So I know there's delay on here, so type away. Start typing. Hurry up. I want that answer. Come on. We're all waiting. Dead air. Come on. Don't let me down now. All right. Well, maybe we're not going to know. Any other questions? And if not, we'll wrap it up. I'm curious to know how if the video is fuzzy, if the sound is out of sync, all of those things we've been experiencing now and then from time to time. I'm curious to know how that is. All right. I went to the transit office in Circasia a few weeks ago. As far as I know, it's still open. I'll check it out. I don't know. The ones here, they're shut down, and when I checked on it, they said they're closed throughout Colombia. Unless we're talking about a different type, I don't know. Distance to the moon. Looks excellent. Good. Audio, video, great. Today's video is excellent. Sound in sync. Awesome. I came Friday. I don't know how to know if they checked. I just presented it. Oh, okay. All right. Don't know. These are things we'll have to find out. And I will check the office in Circasia. I've got a couple friends that live there, and I'll have them. I didn't think to ask them about it. I've got a friend here that's highly placed in the government. When I went to the office, there was a sign there. I took a picture of it so that I could run it through the translator just to be sure. I could read it, but yeah, I'm unsure of it. But it basically said transito offices are closed till further notice. And this was not a handwritten thing. It was actually on the letterhead. And so then I checked with my friend, and he said, yeah, they're closed. And there's no word on them being open. So I'm not sure what is open in Circasia. I'll check on it. Good move. Yeah, forgeries are always good. They did ask if I had tested during registering on the immigration site. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think they're still requiring it. Now, I have reason to think that other than what Rob said. But these are things I can't definitively know. I'm not, the Wizard of Oz, behind the curtain here. That's a drape that goes over the camera when I'm not using it. I try to keep up on this stuff, but, things can change without notice. What do we got here? What is the fee to enter the country? I'm Canadian. Fee? I don't know of any fee. I've never had to pay a fee. Maybe Canadians do. I don't know. Anybody else know? If you're Canadian, can you speak to that? According to the Travel Weekly, Colombia no longer requires negative COVID tests for entry. Travel Weekly. All right, I'll look it up. I appreciate that. Active article was 3 days ago, by the way. Well, that'd be pretty awesome. It's not that people couldn't do it, but it was a little problematic because the free testing usually would cause you to be late. And if you paid for it, it could cost you up to a couple $100. And, you know, it's almost like, I mean, who wants to take out $100 bills and put a match to them? So, no fee. Yeah, that really kind of caught me off guard. I didn't know how to respond to that because I'd never heard of it. I've never heard anything of the sort. Okay. Well, I think that's it. I've got my homework. I'm going to check out the office in Circassia. Fingers crossed. That would be awesome. I mean, I hope you're right. Believe me. I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to get this done. And if that office is open, you know, I'll buy you lunch. And what's the other thing? Oh, this, are they done with testing? What great news that would be. So, all right, we're going to end it here. Let me get to my thing. It's all right. We're going to end it here. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate the contributors. I appreciate the viewers. And I've been getting great feedback on a couple Bucaramanga videos. The stuff coming up, I think you're really going to like. So last I looked, I've never had subscribers move so slow. I'm still short 4 subscribers. What was it? A week ago, I needed 10. So that's 6 subscribers. Well, it's 1 a day. That's bad even for me. But I'm short 4 subscribers to hitting 3,000. So if you're not subscribed, you know, please. Now, if you subscribe and then unsubscribe, it won't count. Because somebody said, I don't like to subscribe to anything, so I subscribed and unsubscribed. Well, okay, I appreciate it, but it doesn't count. So that's it. I'll see you later. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your day.